Well, Rob, let's get to Kyler Murray. And for those that don't know what's going on there, a few days ago, Kyler Murray scrubbed his Instagram account of all references to the Cardinals. So whatever photos he had with him in the Cardinals uniform or anything, related to the Cardinals, he took down. And at first, most people did, okay, what does that mean? We're not going to make too big of a deal out of it. But then stuff started coming out. And Chris Mortensen was reporting that some people in the organization think Kyler is selfish and a finger pointer and immature. And Rob, I've heard from a few, but we just had Ephraim Salam on. And he said, he thinks Kyler is being immature about this situation. We had Greg Jennings on, who's a guest on our show, and he was on First Things First this morning. He thought that, Kyler was showing a little bit of selfishness. And I've even heard a situation where another player, a former player who's, talked with Kyler and been around him and stuff, that's felt the same way. And so we had him on our show at the Super Bowl a couple years ago before he got drafted. He was fine then. I mean, obviously it's just a 10-minute radio interview, so you can't get a great feel. But he seemed okay. But I will say this, Rob. I just think that he hasn't dealt with a lot of adversity in football. In high school, he famously went undefeated, 42-0, won 3 straight state championships in Texas. I mean, that's balling. I mean, Texas is as good as it gets when it comes to high school football, and he dominated. He goes to Texas A&M, and, I guess a little adversity there, and he transferred. And then he goes to Oklahoma, sits 1 year behind Baker Mayfield, and then ultimately takes over, wins a Heisman. Oklahoma has a great season, finishes in the top 5, top 4. I think they got to the playoff. And now he's facing some adversity for the first time, really, when it comes to not just being head and shoulders above everybody else, being banged up a little bit. There's a question is, can he really be at his best for a 17-game season or 16 games even? Their team fizzled down the stretch for the second straight year. And so I think he probably doesn't know how to handle adversity, Rob. And so maybe that's why he's acting out. I think when he says he's being scapegoated, I don't see that because I think Cliff Kingsbury, rightly so in my view,
we all documented, but we documented Cliff Kingsbury's collapses even at Texas Tech, Chris.
Absolutely.
We said this isn't a blip. This is a pattern.
This is his pattern. This is his custom. It's and I agree. Right. And he's getting most of the fire. Now there's a little shrapnel hitting Kyler, right?
And rightfully so, because when they were 7-0 and he was playing well, he was getting a lot of the credit. It was about Kyler Murray being the MVP. They were 7-0. Oh my God, look at what's going on. So you can't have it both ways. And the only thing I'm going to say, Chris, if there's an issue, you got to do it. Just talk it out. That's what you should do.
And don't just go on social media, right?
Right. You shouldn't have to. Right. You don't have to post stuff on social media all the time, Just have a conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I look at you. Go ahead. Expound.
No.
What do you mean?
No, I'm just saying in general. I just think you know what? When people say selfish, I get it because it undermines Chris. He might think it's no big deal. Okay, I'm taking off all the Cardinal stuff and I'm deleting all that stuff. But it undermines the organization. Your quarterback, where's his head? Oh my God, we got a problem. Now we don't know what's going on. This kid we thought he was a good kid and was about trying to win, and now we don't know. And his teammates are like, oh, wait a minute. He scratched everything off. Right. What's going on? Right. Now other people are questioning, is this going to be ugly? Is there a divorce pending? You just put a lot of stuff in flux. You might turn some fans off to the organization. Oh, here we go again. These guys are babies. I can't, I'm so tired of it. There's just a lot of other parts, Chris, that go with it that you just can't do that.
No, you're absolutely right, Rob. And here's the other thing. Now, there are some that think, and look, there's reason to think this, that remember, Kyler's up for the contract extension, Rob. And there are some that think this is all just a ploy to pressure them to give him the contract extension. Remember, Josh Allen got the huge one after 3 years. And I'm going to say this. And Kyler looks promising. He's made 2 Pro Bowls. I don't think he should have made it this year, but he did. So give him credit. He's made 2 Pro Bowls. They've improved every year from 5 wins to 8 wins to 11 wins since he's been quarterback. He's been good. You're not sure, right? Is he going to be an all-time great? You don't know yet, but he looks pretty good. But Rob, I'll say this. If I'm Arizona, there's no way I'm giving him that contract extension right now. And this has nothing to do with what he did on social media. I think you better be absolutely sure when you give a guy the contract extension after 3 years, because I can name a few off the top of my head that were big-time mistakes. Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, and Todd Gurley, who wasn't a quarterback but running back. The Rams didn't have to give Gurley or Goff the huge contract, but they did, and they came to regret it. Philadelphia came to regret it with Carson Wentz. Why not wait? Unless the guy shows you, like Patrick Mahomes came out of the gate his second year, first year as a starter and threw 50 touchdowns. Second year, you're in the Super Bowl. Okay. But just a guy that's really good, but has some ups and downs, doesn't get you to the promised land or close.
And has
I'm
faded.
waiting. Right. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I got him for the 4th year. I can opt in for the 5th year. And if I want to, I can franchise tag him. Now, Rob, I look at it this way. In the end, that would cost you more. But if the guy proves to be...
Because the Cowboys, it cost them more.
With that, right.
Like we talked about it. But we talked about it like they were playing around, and it wound up costing them a lot more. Dak made $75 million last year.
And I think Dak did enough where they knew, okay, this is our quarterback. Not that he was awesome. He was good. He wasn't awesome. But they knew this is going to be our guy, so pay him. But my point is, Rob, if I string out Kyler Murray in 4th year, 5th year, and then see, okay, this is our guy, and now I got to pay him more, I'm willing to do it to be certain. That's all I'm saying. But I would wait, Rob. If this is about the contract, I would wait. And the way Kyler's acting right now, I would think isn't going to help him in that regard.
So what would you do if you're the Cardinals? I mean, at this point, you have a conversation. Do you call his agent? Do you call him and just say, dude, let's just talk this out and figure out what the issue is? And then he's mad because people are saying he's selfish, and those are selfish acts. I don't know if, and right. I know what is it? Chris Mortensen had a report, right? That painted him in
no, that's one of the reports. Selfish,
immature.
Yep.
Right. And it's hard to argue with immature. That's some of the actions sound immature.
Yeah, I would call him in, right? You know me. I'm about, let's have a conversation. If I have to call his agent first and then get on the phone with Kyler, come on in, man. Let's talk about this. Because, look, as much as I said if I'm Arizona, I'm not giving him the contract extension now. If I'm Arizona, I'm also thinking, Rob, this is our guy, though. I don't know for certain, right?
And
but
maybe
for
you
the
just
next
need
few
to have
years,
a conversation
this is my guy.
to say, look,
this
is going to happen.
Right. Like, we want you. There's no doubt. But here's one thing I would say to him, Rob. We're close. We won 11 games this year, Kyler. And if we lock you up now, then now we can't keep going out and improving the team because you're making so much money. We want you. You're our guy. We keep improving every year. You're a 2-time Pro Bowler. But let's capitalize right now on this situation where we've got the money to go out and get other players to surround you with so you have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl. And then we'll take care of you. But Rob, I don't think it's time to panic by any stretch of the imagination, right?
No,
Do you?
You're not going to
We got you under contract. You ain't going nowhere.
Right. So that's not the issue. It's just that I need to find out why you're doing what you're doing. At least have a conversation with us and let us maybe explain if it's about the contract.
Right.
This is our history. We don't do that. We will pay you at the end of your, at the end of that contract, the rookie contract.
Right.
Right. And maybe you lay it out. We've never paid anybody ahead of time. No, nobody.
Right.
I don't know what their philosophy.
Now,
might
of
have
course, when he points out, well, hold, you paid so no.
No. But I'm saying, but you'd have to have a philosophy to be able to explain it to him. I'm saying, now, if you don't have that, Chris, then he can have a right to say, well, why are you doing this to me when you paid Joe Blow and you know what I mean? Like before their 50 years came up. And that's what I'm saying.
And
if
you know
do
what?
Have one.
And Rob, it may have to be a hard conversation where it's like, look, it's a business.
No, I get that. I'm just saying.
And this is what I say to the players, because some people are like, oh, they get out, if they don't want to pay. Well, look, and we beat this drum, Rob. If the players don't like the current situation, then next time you have bargaining, stand up and fight.
But they don't do it.
Right now, these are the rules, and this is how it is. And we're going to wait. And if you don't like it as a player, then, like I said, stand up and fight next time there's collective bargaining. But I just, that's how I would handle it as a team, Rob.